Assalamu alaikum guys. In this lecture number 7 we will talk about the radioactive carbon dating, which is important for carbon based materials, and it is very interesting for you as a physics student in the nuclear physics course. So what is the radioactive carbon dating? The radioactive carbon dating, also referred as carbon dating or carbon 14 dating in the literature, is the method of determining the age of the object containing organic material. Of course, organic materials means carbon based materials, by using the properties of the radiocarbon. So in this figure, on the left hand side below, you can see, we can find the ratio of the C14 over C12. uh, while living, it's constant, and after that it decreases with time. So in the next slides it will be clear, and you can see how on the right hand figure how it is related with the carbon based materials, and from where this carbon isotope C14 comes. I will show you. So in this slide you can see this method was developed in late 1940s at the University of Chicago by William Levy, who received the Nobel Prize in Chemistry, interestingly, for this work in 1960. Carbon dating is a variety of radioactive dating which is applicable only to matter which is once living and presumed to be equilibrium with the atmosphere and taking in carbon dioxide from the air for photosynthesis. So how this works? Actually, nitrogen 14 is present in our atmosphere, which are hit by neutrons, by the cosmic radiations, neutrons. Uh, After this, the neutrons convert this nitrogen into the radioactive C14 isotopes plus protons, and in this C14 carbon and isotope is radioactive, and it is absorbed by living organisms or carbon based materials. It is based on the fact that the radiocarbon is constantly being created in the atmosphere by the interaction of cosmic rays with the atmospheric nitrogen. So C14 reacts with oxygen to form radioactive carbon dioxide, and which is incorporated into plants by photosynthesis, and then animals acquire this by eating them, and when the animal or plant dies, it stops exchanging carbon with its environment, and when it, while these animals or plants are living, its concentration in the body of the animal or plant remains in equilibrium, which means that during living the number of radioactive carbon decays will be compensated by the absorption. Means while living we have both processes, the decay process of C14 and the absorption of C14. After the death, the absorption of C14 stops, and we have only decay of C14. And by measuring the radioactivity of the dead dead body, carbon-based body, we can estimate the age of the sample. So measuring the amount of C14 in a sample from a dead plant. So after the death, we have only emission of the C14, decay of the C14, and absorption is stopped. So while living, they are in equilibrium with the atmosphere, because both processes are going at the same time. So half-life of the carbon C14 is it it eventually, C14 eventually decay back into N14 through this process as shown by beta decay. The half-life refers to the time taken to lose half of the radioactive material. So half-life of the carbon-14 is 5,730 years. So this process of dating gives very good results if the age of the sample is less than this. So usually it is valid for 50 years samples or 50 years old samples. So carbon dating can be extremely useful to archaeologists when they need to know the approximate date of the fossil or any other object. So carbon dating, in this figure you can see that when the age is 0, it's living, it's 100%, means this is an equilibrium with the atmosphere. After the 5373 years, it has the first half-life, and the 50% of the C14 are decayed, and then after that, and the second half-life comes after 11,000 years, and then the third half-life. So on the left hand figure, it shows that after that the amount of C14 decreases with time, and the ratio of the C14 over C12 is very important. So we can find the age of the sample, which is not older than 50 years. So here's some mathematical treatment. So consider a sample of radioactive substance that decays to final product with the known half-life T half at a particular time T naught. They have N naught total number of nuclei are present. At the later time, the number of atoms are reduced to Ni. So the product final nuclei at time T will be Nf is equal to N naught minus Ni. So by using the radioactive decay law, for Ni atoms equal to N naught e to power minus lambda T, lambda is the disintegration constant, we can have the time T by after some solution T is equal to 1 over lambda natural log N naught over Ni, and by using the half-life formula, T half is equal to natural log 2 over lambda. In this above T formula, we end up with this above equation. T is equal to T half over lambda natural log of 2 natural log Ni over N naught, and using equation number 1, equality, we can further simplify this equation to reduce to T is equal to T half. T half is the half-life over natural log of 2 ln bracket 1 plus Nf over Ni. This equation will be useful to find out the age of the radioactive sample actually for this carbon-based materials also. So importance of radioactive carbon dating. Living organisms can absorb radioactive carbon by the respiration and eating plants, and when the organisms die, I told you the C14 are present at the time of death, now becomes to decay and not in equilibrium with the atmosphere. So by measuring the decay rate of the C14 at any time, we can determine the age of the sample. So there is some example you can see, and the method of radioactive carbon dating is useful for organic materials that have also less than 10 half-lives in each. So what is important? So this is the bibliography from where I have taken the material, and so for today's lecture it's enough, and I think you will be motivated to read more from your textbook and also from the related material on the internet. Thank you.